This is Mr. Peter Obi, and you're watching NoireTV.
My name is His Royal Highness Charles Egbe. His Excellency, thanks for joining us this morning. Uh, my
Thank you.
question is, my question is, as Nigerians, we know some of our problems. When you have large cost of governance, people in the Senate, people in the House of Rep, making millions of naira, even having newspapers allowance that nobody reads newspapers anymore nowadays. Everything's online. I strongly believe that if Nigerian current government cannot control the expenditure, what they dish out to all the people representing us, we will continue to have difficulties in managing the affairs of the country. What do you think, as a former governor or as a presidential aspirant, what should be the minimum salary for those people representing us in the House? Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you have followed me, Charles, you know I've been, I don't know how to describe it, but a very, very, very campaigner of cutting the cost of governance, aggressively ensuring that it's reduced to minimum. And it's not just those who are in the House. From the executive, I've operated at that level as a governor, and I can tell you the cost of governance in Nigeria is not just irresponsible, it's criminal because there's so much waste. And that you can drop to a very minimal level and have resources to deal with other issues. You can't just have people stay in one place, you know, renovating houses, building palaces, buying planes, while abandoning critical areas of development. I just told them yesterday that the number one critical area of development is health. And you can't talk about health without talking about primary health care. If you look at the budget of our capital budget of our primary health care, because when you talk about budget, yes, what you put into the recurrence is to pay, but the capital side of it is what will allow you to build the necessary infrastructure. If you look at the capital component of our primary health care, which is the foundation of health, for 2024 is about 59 billion plus. If you look at the capital budget of all the teaching hospitals, from that of Ibadan, University of Ibadan, University of Lagos, University of Nigeria, Soka, Ahmadu Bello University, University of Jos. If you put all of them together, all the universities, which is this is your specialist teaching hospitals, where you can say that is where the best is. If you put their capital budget and of primary care together, it is not up to the money we used to buy a new plane. That is where the problem is. The same thing goes to the National Assembly, where you have budgets, and what I've mentioned, I think in my last interview here, that you have a budget where we don't have a national library where people can go and have reference and everything. The budget for it this year is under 1 billion, but you have National Assembly Library for 15 billion, which nobody's going to use. So for me, it is something you need to dismantle. And there are things that I follow that read this and I know what is happening. So it's not about me, it's about if you're there, you have to come out and show this is the way to go. But it has to start with you, who is on the executive side, before you can tell other people to manage their own situation.
Charles Abel again. I'm from Maryland. The question I wanted to ask was I was disappointed at the last election that we have the European representatives came to see the election and they saw that it was rigged and all that stuff. And still, the foreign policy, Nigerian government is still, those that came to witness the election knew that the election was rigged and nothing was done um, by the European government. So how do we still have a foreign relationship with those people that did not represent during the election properly? What kind of trust do we have on them coming to watch another election?
Well, Mr. Charles, foreign observers are just there to observe. They're not going to change your country. I'm one of those who believe that we don't have any problem with foreign countries and they can't change Nigeria. When people blame them, and I disagree with it, the problems in Nigeria are Nigerian problems. They can be solved by Nigerians. If Nigeria decides to have a good leader, we'll get that problem solved any day. And I've said it repeatedly when I was campaigning, that I will concentrate on building a strong Nigeria that will be secured, that can feed itself, and engage with foreigners on the proper terms.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Peter Obi. This is Hena Marwa from Riverside, California.
Yeah.
My question is that how do you see those of us who are citizens of the United States helping to improve governance vis-a-vis interacting with our legislators, our senators, particularly now that we're in the campaign season and we have relationship with our politicians who are trying to get into governance? How can we as Nigerians in the diaspora advocate, lobby, educate them to really understand what are the issues or what are the things that are very important to us? Because my belief is that good governance in Nigeria will come by the active participation of the Nigerian diaspora, well-meaning Nigerians like you and the youths. So how do we leverage this in our country of citizenship?
Thank you, Mr. Merwa. You know, I don't consider you a citizen of the United States because you've done quite a lot to show that you are a Nigerian, an African of repute, by your continuous involvement positively in areas of good governance, by your continuous visit and everything. And like I keep saying, Africa, especially Nigeria, cannot change and grow without involvement, active involvement of its diaspora population. They did it in other Asian countries. Even must do it in Nigeria. It is the millions of diaspora Nigerians outside that will engage and work with the remaining meaningful committed politicians locally to change. We have a criminalized situation now where our politics and governance have become completely transactional. It is not, so the people inside there cannot effectively change it. You require people from outside. It's like you have a war situation where people inside are virtually captured. So to rescue them, you need troops from outside that will help with what is inside to be able to rescue them. So we cannot do it without you. Even after we start seeing good governance, which I told the young people, we lay the foundation. It is even your children who you are now paying to go to Ivy League universities in America now come home and helped to build that, because they've seen good governance. They know what it is. They know that a good society benefits everybody. While a failed society impoverishes everybody. So they know the value of education. They know the value. All those people I'm talking, they are the ones who know that no piece of land should be uncultivated. Because they've seen that you live in California, which is the biggest economy in America. It is not coming from oil. It is coming from agriculture. It's coming from knowledge. It's coming from that. So it's people like you that will require to help us to build a new Nigeria, where that we cannot be dependent on a administrator called oil.
Again,
So my question, sir, is how can we then educate, or how do we influence our political leaders, our representatives, our senators to understand the value of good governance in Nigeria so that we can get there?
The only way that you can educate them is to work with those you think that believe in good governance, those that are doing the right thing. There's still maybe 5–10% of Nigerians who still believe that things can be done differently. Let's work with that small number in bringing about change. Because I believe that 80–90% of us have actually made a decision that they would not want anything to work because they live off the confusion.
Thank you, sir.
Frank Udenta from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm just joining, and I just have two questions. Well, the first question is, what should or what is the plan moving forward to ensure that INEC doesn't disenfranchise voters, which is something that was very critical in the last election. That's number one. Number two is with respect to education. I'm involved with CIC Foundation, and we have been doing what we can to lift our school up. And I'm trying to see how that ties into your plan for education.
Well, first is that there's not much I can do to see that what happened last time will not happen again. Except, like I said, we will be doing whatever we can to change the rules. And we're going to do it through amendments of the electoral law. We're going to do it by ensuring that whatever method INEC decides to conduct the election, like they said last time, they're going to use this and this stays. They're not going to change the rule at the middle of the game. They have to say one thing and stick to it. We're going to say that collection is done in real time online so that everybody can see it. We watched South African election from Nigeria. Everybody saw Kenya election. Everybody saw. So you can't be giant of Africa when you cannot do simple things like election. So we need to do it properly. That one. On what you're talking about CIC and what the old boys are doing, I thank you people for the great work and urge you to continue. For me, I've said it several times, it's been shown, every studies have shown that the more a country is educated, the more developed. Because it is human infrastructure that you need to build before you talk about physical infrastructure. So for me, education is the number one thing to aggressively pursue, especially in the north. So education is one, education again. So I'm going to pursue education and health simultaneously as number one and number two. Number three is to start pulling people out of poverty by ensuring that the farmers go back to farm, there's critical areas, security, everything, that all these are working. So it's not, education is fundamental. It's not just about supporting CIC, it's about ensuring that things work.
Good afternoon, NoireTV, and good afternoon, Mr. Obi. My name is Yemi
Yes.
Adeboye, and I work in the legal sector in the UK. And my question for Mr. Obi is, as one of the many Nigerians born abroad, potentially considering a return, how do you plan to encourage young Nigerian professionals and entrepreneurs currently abroad in like the United States and Canada to relocate and scale their businesses locally in Nigeria, as opposed to other countries, bringing their valuable insights in tech, healthcare, and energy to Nigeria? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. If you have followed me, I've always said that when they talk about brain drain, I said it will be brain gain. We can't build the new Nigeria without you people. We actually need you. Look at what is happening in Asian countries, from India to Vietnam. China, we're talking today, was the same experience. It was Chinese people that left China. It was Indians that left India. That came to the Western world, acquired knowledge, and decided to build a better life for their people. And they came back. Once you create an enabling environment, you become a brain gain, because we need you for the next phase. But now we cannot say to you, come back and get kidnapped. Come back, and because we haven't put the infrastructure for you to return. The place needs to be secure. Physical insecurity is number one. And then we provide the food insecurity for the people that are there. And then become cheap labor for you to come down and turn the place around. We can't do anything without you. You are going to do the next phase, but we need to lay the foundation for you to come back. And I'll show you that is where we're going. That's why I always say, let's dismantle this present criminality and bad governance and ensure that things are working well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi again, Mr. Obi. I had a question regarding foreign policy. So what do you believe Nigeria's foreign policy should look like? And what is your feeling on the current government's approach to foreign policy? I've seen in the UK that you've advocated for Keir Starmer to become Prime Minister in the UK. Would you engage with leaders in the UK, the US, China, as well as Africa if you became president?
Well, I mean, your foreign policy has to start with your domestic policy. If you have a strong domestic policy, strong economy, stability, you will be able to engage the outside world better. You'll be able to respect you. You'll be able to get something out of it. So these are things, for me, the first thing is to be able to do one, security, personal security, security of life and property. Deal with the food insecurity, deal with ineconomy and pulling people out of poverty, ensuring health, power, and everything. Before you can talk about going to engage people outside, yes, we might need them here and they're not for charity. I've said that Nigeria doesn't need foreign aid. What we need is good governance. And then we can then start to talk to the world where they will respect us and we respect them. We definitely will want to work with other people outside Nigeria in trying to find ways of governing more effectively in Nigeria. And I will engage all of them, but I'm not going to go begging for food. It will not work.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, NoireTV, and good afternoon, Mr. Peter Obi. My name is
Good
David
afternoon.
Adediran Johnson. Yes. So my question is just one, straightforward. Please, during your campaign, you also said that you were going to remove the subsidy, the fuel subsidy. So my question is, what were your plans and your programs that will act as a cushion effect for when the subsidy is removed, as you said in your campaign? That's all. That's my question.
Thank you. If you have followed my campaign, my brother, if you have followed my campaign, you would have actually have seen what I said there clearly. I said you have 50% component of the subsidy were fraud. I did mention it that I'm going to remove subsidy. The first thing would have been to eliminate the fraud side of it, because everybody knew that the amount of fuel we were consuming were far in excess of what we are supposed to be consuming because of the fraudulent activities. And this is measurable. We compared it with other countries who have even more vehicles than us and found that their consumption is about a third of ours. So we would have removed that fraudulent side of it first. And then you would have brought it to about 50% of what we're paying. And then plan with consultation, meetings of the stakeholders, how we can gradually remove the same, and then showing Nigerians benefits and of that removal. Either that we can't afford to pay it any longer, or we're going to save the money we're using to pay it and put it in critical area of development like health, education, and pulling people out of poverty. We're told that billions were saved. Where was those billions invested? We're told they started paying, so there's so much confusion. We want the system to be transparent and people to be informed of what is happening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for including me here. And my name is Eze Inyama. I'm happy to interact with you guys, including Mr. Peter Obi, who I've been longing to see, to know who that man is. But I'm happy today. I want to ask you a question today. My question is, I know that everybody loves you. Many people love you. Two questions. Are you going to run in 2027? Another question is, if you are going to run, on what platform are you going to run? Since I have been watching what is going on in Nigeria, and I see that there are some local government or some states where the Labour Party is not active. So I want you to clarify on that. That's the two questions I want to put up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Eze. Let me clarify your first position. Everybody loves you. If everybody loves me, I'll run for cover. That is, no human being is loved by everybody. There must be some people who don't like to see your face. So there may be a considerable number of people who, again, believe in what I'm saying and they know I mean what I'm saying. So that's number one. Are you going to run in 2027? For me, my preoccupation now is not about 2027. It's about Nigeria today. because we so get preoccupied by the next election that people do not put proper checks in what is happening today. Nobody knows who is going to be there in 2027. If I'm there in 2027 and I have the opportunity, yes, I will run. But I need to be there. What I need to do now is to show that I'm a politician who believes in the people's welfare, who believes that the people of Nigeria are not today being governed well, and continue to say this is right, this is wrong. On which platform is same thing. I'm a Labour Party member. I'm always a loyal member of any party. Yes, people will say he has left this party, he has left this party, he has left this party. One day, those who are close to me will tell the story of how I left all those parties. The truth is that every party I've left, I've been pushed to leave. This morning, somebody asked me a question about something. I said, I don't stay where there's a problem. I've never knowingly, whether it's in private or in public, quarrel with people. I don't stay. I would rather be the loser and be called a coward and go out of it in peace than stay where there's quarrel. So if people tomorrow say, we don't want you here, I move on. That is not weakness. It is a virtue. Just like people will say it's simple. It is a virtue. People will say it's present. It's a virtue. You must be able to do things where you tolerate others. And if they don't want you, don't quarrel with them. You move on. My commitment is for a better Nigeria. I don't know where I'm going to stay to be able, and I believe that we need to work together with other entities in order to be able to change the country.
My name is Chukwebuka. I'm currently based in Nigeria. So, my first question is currently what is happening in Nigeria, as you said, few days ago now and yesterday, some journalists has been arrested and also without any information of what they've done and all the rest of them. Like last night or 2 days ago, we heard about the founder of Telegram arrested in France, and the reasons why he was arrested was put out there for people to know. But in Nigeria, journalists are being arrested without any information of what they've done and all the rest of them, and then keeping them incommunicado. So, my question is, what are you doing, like, to telling the leaders um, of the use of telling people, even though there's need to arrest someone, to open up and tell the public the reason why the person is arrested. Then, secondly, my question is about collaboration in terms of making Nigeria great again, or keeping building the new Nigeria we are talking about. How are you collaborating or meeting people all over Nigeria to join hands with you and then achieve this vision? So these are my two questions. Thank you.
Well, starting from your first question about journalists and people being arrested without this thing, I said that for me, if I was involved, it was under my watch, nobody would be arrested unlawfully. And nobody will be harassed unlawfully. Everything we're going to do one of the things I want to enthrone is that intangible assets of law and order and living with the rule within the law, making sure that the right things are done always, because it's critical for people to live in a society. On what is said, if you're in Nigeria, you know that I'm moving around, trying to get people to understand and join in what I'm doing, trying to make them to do it themselves. So it is important.
All right, thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Peter Obi. My name is Nicholas. I'm from Imo State, Nigeria. I live in the United States. My question is about wasteful spending in government. As someone who was a governor of a state, I look at Nigeria and I wonder how we've been able to purchase, the government of the day has been able to purchase some wasteful resources that we do not need. And it's almost as if we as a people are powerless. So as someone who was governor in his time, how can the people stop this government from continuously wasting our resources? I don't know if that's like it's going to be a means of an advice to us or a pathway for us to be able to stop this wasteful spending. We cannot continue to demand vocally. Are there directions that we can use to stop wasteful spending in Nigeria amongst our government as of today?
Well, there's no other way apart from to continue being very vocal and condemning that wasteful expenditure and saying that the resources should be used for the good of the people in other areas that are critical areas of development. Like I've always advocated, we can't continue what we're doing now, both at national and sub-national level, with the expenditure. We need to do something drastic to cut the expenditure and waste and use the money very meaningful.
NoireTV, showing on Verizon Fios channel 269, Optimum channel 1100, and on Digicel. Or on our website www.noiretv.com or download the app from the App Store or Play Store.